Hello, hello, and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Michael Brazil. I got my man Ghost here with me, and we are live here on HNB Media TV. We always appreciate the heck out of them, and Ghost Man, I appreciate the heck out of you. You were off yesterday, so we'll get there in a second. Gave you a very well deserved night off, but Adam and Brian did an incredible job in your place. Please, everybody, ask us all the questions you have because it's really fun for us, honestly. And I hear it's good for like YouTube or whatever. So just ask us all the questions you have. Roofing, paving, and concrete for all your paving and concrete needs. I expect you to come in with some fire as well. Trent and Brian and Ben and everybody. We appreciate you guys. Make sure if you haven't already, get in onto the Win Daily Sports NBA season pass. $150, 7 months, $20 a month will help you crush it very, very hard. So we do appreciate that. So Ghost Man, you were off yesterday. I know you were watching the stream. You were commenting along. Was it weird watching me and other people, do this dance that we normally do?
That definitely felt a little weird, at least from an NBA aspect. But the guys absolutely crushed it. So I think the Canadian in me really came out yesterday. I think I said thank you probably like 16 times throughout the day for not only did they cover me on the stream, but they also covered writing and stuff like that. It was nice to have a day off, and obviously we were all in lockstep anyway. So I was going to publish an article that just said CC Adam's article for cash and Brian's article for GBP because we were all on the same page as usual. But it was nice to have a day off yesterday.
That it is roofing, paving, and concrete for all your paving and concrete needs. His ass was in the chat room. You can't stay away. You'll love to see it. And Brian, I guess he used that promo code Manscaped. First comment, my balls feel like 2 Christmas ornaments. I love it, man. Glad you enjoy it. Remember, manscaped.com, promo code WINDAILY, get 20% off and free shipping. So we love it. Oh, Brian's coming in again. The ball sacks are in the same sack tonight. Love it. So we can do 2 balls.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about both our balls. So that's always fun. So make sure if you haven't already, smash that like button here on YouTube. And as you can see in our pinned comment, I guess, I don't really know how YouTube works all that well, but go and subscribe to the Win Daily Sports page because we're going to be putting up a lot of videos over there too. We're up to 600 subscribers. If we get to 1,000, I don't know. We'll give everybody something. Like, I don't care at this point. You guys can have everything. That's fun. We're a media company. Take it. Who cares? We're looking for advertisers. So if anybody wants to advertise with us too, jump on board. Like Roofing, Paving, and Concrete for all your paving and concrete needs, specifically in New Jersey. So let's look at these games a little bit, Ghost Man. So we have a gigantic slate. I know you have some lineups to put in yourself, so it's always we want to get you out of here with a couple minutes. So it does start at 7. They give us that 7 o'clock game. So thanks, NBA. It is the Phoenix Suns and the Detroit Pistons. Suns favored by 8 on the road. Woof. 215.5 is the total. How are you liking this game, Ghost Man?
Yeah, for me, lock is at 7:30 because I'm not playing anything from this first game. There's a lot of viable pieces, though, if you want to get different in a GPP. But given the amount, like this could be a G League team playing a D3 college team, and it would still pull ownership just because people love to load up on that first game because they want to open up their DraftKings or FanDuel app at 7:30 and say, hey, I'm winning, who knows, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that's not the way that NBA DFS works. Lineups don't stop until the very last game begins. So even if the majority of you guys are in at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, news shifts very quickly. And a lot of times, especially with teams like the Lakers, it happens after lock. So this is one for me where I'm essentially crossing it off my list. But if you want to get different, I'm cool with playing Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, more so Devin Booker. Of course, everyone knows how big of a Devin Booker guy I am. Aiden might, I don't want to say he's going to struggle against Plumlee in the post, but it's definitely not an easy matchup. Plumlee and Grant coming over there from Denver. They have good defensive roots from the system that Mike Malone had over there, and they brought it to Detroit, and they're really the core pieces for the Pistons on the defensive end. And Jeremy Grant's been having a tremendous season on the offensive side of the ball as well. So if you want to sprinkle him in, I'm okay with that. Just hitting around that 7K price range, hoping that I get 45 to 50 points from a guy like Jeremy Grant is not something that I want to target.
Yeah, that's again, we're here to help you guys win money, and if there's a way that we don't really see you're going to win money on a game, we're not going to let you know about it. So we are going to let you know about it. So yeah, I think as Ghost said, lock really starts at 7:30, so just make sure you reserve some of those lineups. I think that's the important part there. If you reserve enough lineups, you'll still be able to, you get a little extra time. We have the projection model up and running, and in a few minutes it's going to be updating every 5 minutes. So I am just looking right now. Just kind of curious. LaMelo Ball's looking pretty good. Oh, there's a couple people up top. Interesting. Very interesting, Ghost Man. So let's move on to the second game, Washington and Boston. We have the Wizards on the road. Celtics are favored by 4.5. Over under is 236. My goodness. We've seen the Wizards put up points this year, but they haven't really looked that good, unfortunately. Westbrook's doing his thing, Beal's doing his thing, but I guess they decided, like, why play defense when you don't have to?
Yeah, that's pretty much the route that the Wizards have been taking for years now. So I don't think it's going to change anytime soon with the acquisition of Russell Westbrook in the offseason, that's for sure. Bradley Beal is still my dude in this offense. He'll always be my guy in NBA DFS, one of my favorite players to target. And I had mentioned him last slate, and he dropped a cool 62 out there. So he went absolute bonkers. Hopefully you guys played him as much as I did at sub 10% ownership. That was a lot of fun to see. And I have him on my fantasy team. So I absolutely double dip there. There's no correlation between what I play in DFS and who I target in my season long leagues, but that one just happened to be that, you know what, I got Bradley Beal in the second round of my drafts, and I thought that was a steal. And then I play him on a ton of NBA DFS leagues. Tonight's going to be no different. Absolutely love this game. It's going to play fast. There's going to be a ton of turnovers, lots of buckets in transition. Guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to be the go-to, as well as Daniel Tice. Obviously, the name that you mentioned with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown has to be Daniel Tice, right? I mean,
who else?
It's just the best big three that there is in the NBA, right? But given that the amount of guys that have COVID on this Boston team now, you see it on your screen. Kemba's still dealing with his injury, and essentially their entire front court, all those guys that play, 11 to 15, maybe even 17 minutes, they're all out tonight. So while some people are going to flock towards the value, like possibly the Taco Falls, if you want to go down there, or even the Sami Ojeleyes or anybody like that, I'm going with the big guns. Boston's still going to want to win this game. It's a game that they could easily win even without guys like Tristan Thompson and Williams in the lineup. So give me all the Tatum and JB that I can get, and I'm going to be running it back with either Thomas Bryant or Bradley Beal. Thomas Bryant should have his way on the offensive end. Somebody that has that ability in his young career to be able to kind of match up with the best of the best in the paint, but he's not quite there yet. But now that he's going to be seeing plenty of Daniel Tice, and I don't even know who else is going to come in at the 5 other than possibly Taco Fall. But even at that, like, it's just you play him in a lineup. Like, if he's popping in the model, great, then play him. I haven't checked it recently, but if he's not over 6 to 7x, then you don't necessarily have to get too cute with that. Thomas Bryant should see most of the minutes against Daniel Tice, and that's something that I always love to exploit.
Yeah, he is currently popping in the model, but it's not quite that 6-7x that you're looking for. So that's, I think, something important, right? Just because it's value. Well, value at 3,000 is awesome, but it's not like the 7x value that we had a couple nights ago with Dotson or with Chris Chiozza. That was absolutely fantastic. I text Brian. He's like, yeah, he's 5x at the half. I don't know. What did he end up with? Like 10x?
He ended up with just over 8 times his price.
That is pretty good. So the model knows, man. The model knows. So I think that's important. Let's remove this for a second. Have a couple questions over here. Thank you. Trent, what's up, Trent? Muted Serious PGA Tour Radio. I mean, my lineup's not doing that hot. I have a couple guys that are a little disappointed me a little bit, so we'll see what happens. Rusling Paving and Concrete.
For all your paving and concrete needs.
Noel is playing, available to play. I guess he had to dunk on some reporter on Twitter the other day because they said he didn't want to play. So might change. I don't know. I would kind of stay away from that one anyway. Oh, here's a good one. I like this. I have trouble with cash game lines in slates over 7 games. Is there anything different we should be doing in cash game on a larger slate? Very good question, Trent. Ghost, what do you got?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because just because you're the one that asked it doesn't mean there aren't thousands of people that are thinking the exact same thing. And it goes back to what I say, and it's not just for GPPs when I say that people get easily overwhelmed. Honestly, like there's so many different directions to take that, people end up just making some bad choices. And cash for me is, I love the way that Brian put it yesterday, and it's all about blocking. Like it's not about you making the best lineup. Like, hey, I need to hit 300 plus on DraftKings, or I need to hit 350 plus on FanDuel. That's really for GBPs. Those are the tournaments where you're shooting for ceilings. In cash, you need to shoot for safest floors, who's going to play a ton of minutes, and which guys are coming in heavily owned. There's one guy that on the slate that I'm going to talk about that you'll know exactly when I say it, and I'll even mention that this is the guy that I was talking about before. So just so that we're clear, but he's coming in 40% owned tonight. Is he one of my favorite plays on the slate? I mean, yeah, I definitely like him. He's in a great spot. But if you could tell me that I could fade a guy like that, of that talent and that caliber, who's 40% owned in a GBP, possibly to gain some leverage, I'm going to do it every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Whereas in a cash game, if he's coming in 40% owned and you fade him for the player that I'm going to mention when we get to that game, and he ends up outscoring the guy that you took, you're already behind 40, 50, 60% of the field. You'll never be able to catch up. So for me, it's all about a blocking game, and I make 1 to 2 pivots. I identify which guy's coming in extremely high owned that is too over owned to that point. Yesterday for me was Joel Embiid. The moment Kyrie Irving got ruled out, we said, like, you know what, you need to pivot from Joel Embiid. This is not the same fierce competitiveness of this game that we thought that leading up to tip that it would have. And when I saw Joel Embiid being extremely high owned in cash games, I was like, man, this doesn't make sense. And I pivoted to Andre Drummond, and it worked out perfectly. That to me is, you just have to get different in 1 or 2 spots. You don't have to go absolutely crazy changing your whole lineup.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And Trent, we see you in the Discord. We see you doing your thing. So just continue to put it together, ask great questions like this, and hopefully we can continue to help you out. Back to that Boston game, Nick. I don't know about Tice. I mean, he's one of the big three, so I don't know what you're so scared about, but I just don't see him hitting 30 DK points.
For me, it's not. This was another thing that I mentioned the other day with I believe it was THT. He came in at $3,200 and he put up 15 DK, and everyone's like, man, okay, but that's barely over 5x. It's not necessarily what that individual player puts up. It's more so about what does that allow you to do with the rest of your lineup construction. If you look at that $4,000 range today, it's quite ugly in the sense that you can't get key players that are going to play 30 plus minutes and be involved in a high-paced, high-total game environment as much as Daniel Theis is tonight. So is it the sexiest of DFS plays? No, absolutely not. But when you're looking at that $4,000 range, it gets real ugly real quick. So for me to be able to slot in a power forward or a center, he's dual eligible on DraftKings for only 4,300, that's going to play 30 plus minutes. I'm going right to it.
Yeah, and essentially what we're hoping for is 20, 25 points at that point. And then again, as you said, it allows you to do a lot of other things. I think this is a joke from the Discord, do the John Wall. That was kind of fun. Shea Glizzy tonight, I guess we'll get to that game as we do with all the games. Do you like Steph Curry tonight? We'll get to that game. His little brother, though, Duke Blue Devil, Seth Curry, really screwing over the Sixers. So
yeah,
big smile on my face. Big smile on my face. That's not good. The model is messed up right now. The model's never messed up, K-Freak. So you, I'm not going to tell you to shut your mouth on air. That's kind of mean. But what you're probably doing is you just have to
there was if it's not opening on DraftKings, there was an API error like 2 seconds.
No, I got it. It's a little weird if you're on the Showdown Captain mode. It just shows Isaiah Stewart as the only player. But if you're playing the Phoenix Detroit Showdown Captain, we need to have a conversation about what you do with your money. Yeah, we really do have to have a conversation about what we need to do with your money. Brian, also, I'm on the model, so I don't know why everyone keeps saying the model is down. No, he's not lying. Site is down. Oh, geez. Jason, fix it. Well, yeah, hopefully this means you guys can ask us more questions. So let's see what happens. Sorry, guys. It'll get fixed. It always does. Here's a good question. How can you tell ownership on a player before lock?
If you subscribe with our Gold Plus Optimizer package at $59.99 a month, you'll be able to get ownership on every player leading up to every slate for every sport.
All right. I didn't not believe you. It's just I'm on it and it's fine for me. So maybe it's just like a personal thing. Maybe you guys did something.
I have the back end version up anyway. So
all right. So yeah, ask all your questions here. Get everyone in Discord over here. If maybe that is marketing right there. We do all this live, guys. We purposely put this down so that you had to come and watch this.
I can only do so much for you guys to come on air with me.
Love it. Is there a place we can find
average min cash line based on slate size? I mean, those are stats to me that you're going to see a lot of people in the industry. That to me is overanalyzing things. There's only so much that math can tell when you're looking at things. For example, like people are saying, what about this guy versus this guy? Obviously, the answer that I always give is relative to the model. But a lot of times the model ends up matching what I'm thinking just from watching basketball. So it's the same kind of thing when you're talking about min cash lines and stuff like that. So On some nights, if you take a night like tonight, again, I'm going to talk about this player, but for example, you get a player that's 40, 50, 60% on in the cash game, and he goes down 5 minutes into the game, aka De'Aaron Fox the other night. The cash game, that like even that game, if that was a 10-game slate versus tonight's 10-game slate, it's not really fair to end up comparing because everybody had De'Aaron Fox in their cash game lineups. The pay line was like 240 when in reality it should have been like 280. So
interesting. Yeah, see that you gotta figure it out. And I apologize to everyone. The model's 100% down. There's like 10 players up there. So text Jason, text William, see if you can get everything figured out. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for all telling us. Still can't figure out Rooslink Paving and Concrete. Just send me a message. Actually, don't send me a message in Discord this weekend. Send a message to the tech guy. He will help you. I'm actually going away on my honeymoon, so you guys won't see me for 5 days. So 7 days, probably like 9 days, but we'll see what happens. Here we go. Peyton Powell, Levert Green, Vooch, Jay Brown, Boucher, Tice, single entry GPP.
Strong. Don't change that.
How do you use the model to find good value? So you click value and it actually just sorts it by value so you can see the highest value. So it should be
so we might, and I took that as feedback, even though people haven't really like raised it as a question, but it's more so just I keep seeing that question. So what we're working on doing now is that the value button and the projection button, instead of it just being flush with the website, like with no background, we're actually just going to put something behind it for you guys to realize that that's a button. So right now I understand that it might be a bit confusing, but if you move your mouse over to the value and you click it, it'll sort high to low.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And I say honeymoon, so now everyone's telling me to shave my balls. Guys, come on. Guys, come on. We're fine. Don't worry about me. Appreciate it though. All right, let's move on. We have another game. I think I saw, was it Brian was talking about this game. Chicago, New Orleans is one of his favorite ones to play around with. Or I'm sorry, Charlotte, New Orleans. Pelicans favored by 7. Over under sits at 218. Anything from this game that you're liking?
Ball versus ball is definitely
let's go.
Not necessarily something that I'm targeting, or at least targeting in both of them. I'll definitely have my exposure to LaMelo on a slate like this. That's for sure. He's gonna want to show out against his big bro. So it's gonna be fun, and more so just narrative aside that he's been getting more minutes over Terry Rozier and just slotting into that rotation a lot more comfortably now that 3-man rotation between Rozier, Graham, and Ball is working out pretty well for these Hornets, and it's an up-and-coming team. It's gonna take them some time to get there, but they're finally heading in the right direction and really end up having that primary ball handler that they've been missing for years. So definitely gonna be fun to watch that. Brandon Ingram is a guy that I'm willing to go right back to as well. Likely gonna be seeing a ton of PJ Washington on the wing, possibly even Gordon Hayward. 2 guys that I like to target on the defensive end of the ball. So no, take that down.
Come on though. Look at those last couple games.
Don't play Gordon Hayward.
Those last couple games, dude. You dropped 44.
Don't play Gordon Hayward. Come on. No, it's 2021. We don't play Gordon Hayward.
Just making sure.
We don't play Gordon Hayward.
All right.
$400 Gordon Hayward. It's not happening. But Ingram should have his way on the offensive end there. Alongside PJ Washington is one of my favorite one-on-one to the defenders to be able to attack from an NBA DFS perspective. So definitely going back to Ingram in this spot, but this game overall, I'm going to have light exposure, more sort of large field contests to be able to get these under-owned guys. All of them are going to probably come in sub 10% because of some other primary targets in similar price ranges.
Love it. Just the comments on the Ball brothers have been fantastic. He wants to shine and show his big bro. What's up? Little balls out. Let's go. Derek with a little bit of news. Westy is in. Thank you, Derek. Yeah. Always appreciate that. Please, if you guys see any news, we do have our phones in front of us, but I try to pay attention to Ghost and you guys. And he, tries to make sure that the model, I guess, is working sometimes. But have your questions ready because he has the model in front of him, even though you guys can't see it. All right, let us move on. The New York Knickerbockers are home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Knicks are favored by only 2 points. Does that not scream something's wrong the way the Knicks have been playing and the Thunder have been playing? And I don't know. Something's up. Vegas is telling us something. Over under sits at 211. My goodness. That's because the Thunder can't score points. And maybe Julius Randle won't be able to score points. We've seen this dude's price just creep up higher and higher. Let's look. 9,000, 9,100, 8,800, 9,500. And now he sits at 9,800. Dude's been great. Can't take it away from him. But are you playing a $9,800 Julius Randle on the slate?
It's really hard for me to. I wrote him up. I love him as a play. I always write up my plays before we end up checking salaries, just because you have to not be biased in that aspect. If you're iffy on a guy and then you checked his salary before you ended up doing the analytics, you're going to be biased in the sense that, oh yeah, he could find a way to get there. So I never put player prices in the article before I end up doing my full write up, and then the last step that I do before publishing is always put in the prices. And when I saw that, that was wow. I didn't really know what else to say other than wow. This is Anthony Davis territory now. I don't want to say it's quite Giannis territory. Giannis is still $1,000 more, but AD just a couple of days ago was 9,500. So I get it. I could definitely see him dropping 60. He's been playing on another planet this season. Really an early favorite for most improved player of the year. I mean, just off the top of my head, obviously not looking at every single player on every single team, but just when you think about guys that are doing things on the floor that you did not expect them to do, Julius Randle has to be one of the first names that pops into your head. Leading this Knicks team, him, RJ Barrett, Elf Payton, Mitch Robinson finally getting some minutes, and got to give Tibbs credit. I mean, Tibbs gonna Tibbs. He'll run his starters 36 plus minutes. They could be up by 20 tonight. They could be down by 20. It could be going to overtime. He's gonna keep all these guys on the floor because Tibbs gonna Tibbs. So that's something that, you know what, when we're talking about guys getting a ton of minutes and minutes equate money, you could always look to a Tom Thibodeau coach team. So I like these guys a ton better on FanDuel, where they're all way cheaper and you even have more salary to be able to build the lineup. But again, they're elite targets in this spot. Just look at their individual matchups. I mean, Elf Payton's going to see some of George Hill, possibly some Lou Dort, not a very strong OKC backcourt. RJ Barrett's likely going to see SGA out there. So that's a matchup that's favorable, and nobody's going to be able to guard Julius Randle in that front court. I mean, Darius Bazley is not going to be able to guard him. So you could even go to Mitch Rob in the paint against Al Horford. So all four of those guys are really targetable, but their prices are just a little bit too high for me on DraftKings, with the exception of Mitch Robinson.
It is pretty incredible, man. I mean, we're 8 games into the season, and I mean, so here's the thing about New York City. None of you guys, or if you do live close by, I know Ghost up in Toronto, and like it's like these companies know where most people are, right? Like they know that the New York City fan base is ravenous. So why do you think Julius Randle? Yes, he's been incredible, but we also just watched him jump $1,000 in 3 days. Why? Because there's probably a lot of people in New Jersey and New York that love the Knicks and they want to play this guy. So these companies aren't stupid, right? We just saw the Mets go from whatever to like 14-1 to win the World Series. And now most books have them as their number one liability to win the World Series. Why? Because of the Mets. Are they actually going to win the World Series? No, probably not. They're not that good of a team. They didn't even fucking make the playoffs last year. You add Francisco Lindor, that's great. I don't need to get on that tangent, but it's something to pay attention to now with legal sports betting and especially DFS. It's just keep your eyes on it, because they might not say they take that into account, but they definitely know who's being played and how much they're being played and where they're being played. These companies aren't stupid, man. They just want to take your money. Let's be honest about that. All right, let's go back to some of the questions. Good question. K-Freak, Zion and cash or bad decision?
No, too low owned, sharing the rock with Ingram tonight. I'm not going there in cash.
Would you go Ingram in cash?
No, price is too high.
Okay.
Make sure to check out Adam's article. It breaks it down absolutely perfectly, as usual. He does an amazing job. So make sure to double check Adam's article, and he also has a core 4 at the bottom.
Love it. Brian has an awesome comment we're going to get to in a second, but the ball sack lineup, Chioza Burrito, Gordon Bird. That's funny. Come on, guys. Gordon Hayward. Come on. That's funny. Lemon Pepper Lou. Thank you. Zion, Carter Jr., Family Jewels, and LeVert.
It's just Gordon Hayward. I'll never play Gordon Hayward. That's just me in general. He doesn't have that ceiling. He has these outliers where he has 60 plus points. I'm not paying $8,400 for Gordon Hayward. I could name you 10 players off the top of my head that are cheaper than him that will outscore him tonight. So for me, I'm not going there. But in a game stock, it works. If you're playing both Ball brothers and you want that game to absolutely go bonkers, then it's definitely viable.
Ball brothers going bonkers. See, yep. Only put Gordon Hayward as Gordon Brick because Ghost was hating. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And that was
Email,
on
email.
a $4.20 entry. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
Appreciate
see,
it.
like that's a good contest for that. I believe tonight. Don't quote me on there, but I think there's like 40,000 people usually in that contest, or 50,000 people in that contest. So
Got to get wacky.
that you got to be able to get different. I mean, if the chalk hits, you're likely not even getting a takedown in the first place because it's likely going to be chopped, and you got to find the absolute perfect combination. So you got to get different in contests like that.
Shea Glizzy because his player picture auto lock.
No, you got to auto lock him because he's Canadian.
Damn Canadians.
I'm not playing SJ at those prices. I mean, not until he gets at least a better surrounding cast around him. He's not that guy that's been asserting dominance on the offensive side of the ball for me to be. And you saw that last season in the bubble and in the playoffs where he didn't like to have the ball in his hands in these crucial moments, and that's something that takes me off him.
100%. Ish Smith, Wall, Beal, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Hayward, Stewart, Morris, Tice.
Swap Ish Smith for Chioza and then upgrade Stewart. I know you put Hayward in there just to get me cheesed, but that's okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, take out Ish for Chioza. You save $1,100 right there. No Levert is scary today. We haven't gotten to that game, but we're going to touch on that. No Levert is very scary. But if you are making one, you need Chioza in that lineup. And I'll explain why. So get Ish out, go Chioza, upgrade Stewart. And if you have some money left over, go with Hayward. If you're feeling him, go with your gut.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Would you play Birch?
Depends.
More context.
More
context.
More context, please. Contest, site, everything, please.
And just from Brian, his cousin was an outfielder in that Mets trade. Isaiah Grayson. Now he's on Cleveland. Good for him. He's going to get traded again because they don't play their players. You'll love to see it. Bruce Brown going to have a game. How do you feel about that, Ghost Man?
No, chose the season.
Chorizo season. Is Wood playing? I don't know.
You tell me.
Yeah, I think we have a little. Yeah, that game. We're not going to find that information out for a little while. I don't think so. I think we're good there. So let's move on. Keep those questions coming, guys. We love to see them. We're always here for you. That's why we do this. This game we have Orlando and Houston. Wow. Okay, that's pretty good timing. Rockets favored by 6.5 over the Magic at home, 221.5. Is it John Wall season? I think I saw it was John Wall season, correct?
Yeah. We were saying do the John Wall out there, and we like to have a ton of fun in Discord. We get jiggy with some dancing gifts and stuff like that. So we had some John Wall gifts going back and forth. We had some other ones. So it was a fun day in Discord today. John Wall's in a marquee matchup here, going up against rookie Cole Anthony. Big fan. Obviously, we talked about him in our preseason Rookie of the Year long shots. And you know what? Do you remember what I said during that? We'll pull up the clip and we got to post it on Twitter.
Okay. I don't remember off the top of my head. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we ended up saying, we were talking about long shots, and we said that you need to find somebody that could possibly have the opportunity to play minutes. Mm-hmm. Minutes equate money in DFS, but it's more so minutes equate production, and Rookie of the Year is all about production. And I told you, if Markelle Fultz gets injured, there's no DJ Augustine out there.
God damn, you are 100% right. I do remember that. God damn it, I remember that. Yep. Son of a bitch.
Welcome to the Cole Anthony Show. This is it. This is a guy, when I was talking about it before and I said, I'm going to talk about him later, Cole Anthony's coming in 40+% on tonight.
Jesus.
You need to lock him in cash.
All right, Markelle Fultz too. That just sucks. That's
that really blows. And you know what? He was playing really well this season. I'm not even going to say he was playing okay. He was playing really well. He was out there balling, and you know what? I was really looking forward to seeing that, especially in a small market. I'm sure not a lot of people show a lot of love for the Magic. Similarly, like why we always say Nikola Vucevic is one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA, let alone at the center position. But Markelle Fultz is out there balling, and this really sucks for him. But this game is value city. You could play a ton of these Magic. Cole Anthony is really cheap.
Cole Anthony doesn't even have a picture yet. Come on, guys, let's go.
Yeah, I know. He's been getting a ton of more minutes, and you saw last game when Fultz went down early on. Saw 32, likely going to see another 30+ tonight against John Wall. John Wall loves to push the pace. So is he going to get burnt on D? Yeah, quite a lot. But you know what? he's an offensive point guard, and that's exactly what Orlando's been missing from the system for a very long time. And that's why they brought both him and Markelle Fultz in, right? So look for Cole Anthony to do his thing out there. In GPPs, don't be afraid to fade him. I understand he's in a great spot. This is the fade is not because he's not in a good spot, because he's not in a good game environment, anything like that. This would be purely a large field tournament fade based on his ownership alone. When I saw that a player like that is coming in 40+% owned, that could be a ton of leverage. And you don't have to look too far to get leverage. You can get a guy like Terrence Ross or another one of these Magic to be able to get there. Evan Fournier might play tonight as well. This is something where you don't have to go to a different team. You don't have to go to a different position. Evan Fournier's there. Terrence Ross is there. You might be able to get those guys at, maybe a fourth of the ownership of Cole Anthony. So it's a risk, but it's definitely something worth taking a note on in large field GBPs. We saw that Kyrie was out there, $9,300. No KD, no Dinwiddie, no anybody, and he was coming in 20% owned. Double that, and you got a player of maybe half the talent of Kyrie and Cole Anthony getting 40+% ownership. Different price range. I get it. I'm not saying he's $9,300 Kyrie, but when you're talking about eating chalk, especially in a GBP where there's, like we mentioned that $4.20 max one, I think usually there's 30 to 50,000 people in that one. You're playing a guy that tens of thousands of people are going to have him in your lineup, and that player is Cole Anthony. It's not James Harden without Wall. It's not Kyrie without KD. You're eating chalk. That's an Orlando Magic point guard. That's Cole Anthony. To me is great play. I'm going to have him in a ton of lineups too. Don't get me wrong, because it is in a good spot. He's definitely popping in the model, and rightfully so, based on his usage uptick and the amount of minutes that he's going to play. But when you're talking about a 40% owned rookie point guard, it could be a possible leverage spot tonight.
Here's a little bit.
You don't even have to go too far. You could just pivot to Terrence Ross or Evan Fournier. Both of them are coming under 10% owned.
There you go. A little bit of news. Wood is starting. Christian Wood is starting. So
yeah, that makes me like Vooch even more. Very hard to not play Vooch honestly like this. They're gonna run their entire offense through their big man out there. Christian Wood's gonna be he's gonna be tough in the paint. He doesn't like to play too much D. He's aggressive on the glass, more so on the offensive glass than he is on the defensive glass. And Vooch should be able to carry this Magic team.
Love it. Let's get back to some questions. Appreciate everybody. Best underrated power forward, because power forward sucks. Let's do league and then on the slate.
In the entire league, you already know it's Domantas Sabonis.
That's true.
I say that every show.
Does say that like every single show with him. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple things I say every show. Nikola Jokic is a walking triple-double. Say that.
And Domantas Sabonis is almost a walking triple-double. You do say that sometimes.
Yeah. Most underrated power forward in the league. What else do we say? Russell Westbrook likes to turn the ball over. Don't play Gordon Hayward.
It's true. You do say that too. You do say that one a lot. You say that one a lot. How about on the slate? What do you think? Best underrated power forward? I guess that's really just best value power forward, maybe? I don't know.
I'll throw a wild one out there because if you're looking purely for value, there's going to be a couple. But if we're combining value, not too low, like we're not going into the, obviously he's not a power forward, but we're not going into the Chris Chiozza price range where it's 3,000 and 3,500, kind of in that no man's land. Chris Boucher and Draymond Green are both on my radar tonight.
That is good to know. Austin Harmon, Win Daily Sports family member. What is up, buddy? You led him to cash last night. So let's do it again. Tonight, FanDuel lineup. Tell me what to change. Anthony, Peyton, LeVert, Fred VanVleet, Tatum, Powell, Randall, Siakam, and Tice.
I'll run the model for you on I'll text you. My bad if I missed your text. I'll text you.
Look at that. That's what you get. Start writing for Win Daily Sports. You get text messages from this man. Best part about a burrito. Warm it up. I'm sorry. I'm going to completely disagree with that, but it's 2 days in a row of Chiozza season. So we do love to see that. Shout out from the Philippines. What's up, Philippines? What time is it in the Philippines right now? Can you speak French? Please speak French to Ghost. Here is Brandon. Anthony, Peyton, VanVleet, LeVert. A lot of V's on that one. Tatum, Powell, Randall, Siakam, Tice. Sounds a lot like the one we just heard.
That's a lot of Raptors too.
Ghost is not a fan of his Tampa Bay Raptors this year. They leave his country. He gets all pissy.
I understand Kyle Lowry is out, but this is not a team that's going to put up 150 points tonight. So just tread carefully there.
Tread lightly, as somebody once said. FanDuel GPP, Wall.
John Wall. Let's go.
Love it. Chioza, Levert, FEV, Barrett, Tatum, Clark, Bagley, and Brian Bagley. Haven't seen his name pop up. Dookie. Let's go.
So close to my main lineup. That's scary.
There you go. It's like you guys did the John Wall together.
Clark and Bagley, I'm iffy on. Really depends how they end up popping closer to lock. Still got 40 minutes left, and I make all my decisions from that 6:50 to 7 p.m. range. Tonight's a bit different because I'm trading that first game, so it's nice. I get the extra time. But Clark and Bagley, let's double check that in Discord.
Perfect. And I'm just going to the projections. Hey,
quick swap. Instead of Clark or Bagley, get Tice. No Tice in there.
There you go. Projections still not up. Did you text William by any chance?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, he'll get to it then. He's a pretty hardworking dude. We love him. Appreciate him. Hey, let's go back to Brian. Pivot Cole Anthony and GPP because of ownership, but play him in maybe one lineup just in case.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm doing. It's word for word what I'm doing tonight. Obviously, I play a ton of lineups, so I have them in a bit more than one. But it's all relative in the sense that if you're playing three, I'm cool with running him in one. Having 33% Cole Anthony, where you're kind of matching the field, maybe just a bit under. That's okay. It's you're good to go. It's just I'm just talking about we like to talk about possible scenarios on the show too, and just not just play this guy, play that guy, don't play this guy. We really like to go from a logic standpoint, and this is a spot for me where he's coming in at 40+% owned, second highest owned player on the entire slate. It's the definition of a leverage spot. If his ownership was closer to what Kyrie has been and KD, obviously again I'm not comparing him there, not same price, not anything, but I'm talking about guys that are filling in with other stars around them that are injured, ton of usage, a lot of minutes. I'm not fading a 40% owned Cole Anthony on at least some of my lineups. It doesn't make sense that he's this high owned.
And so we're on DraftKings, obviously. K-Free Cole Anthony got a picture on FanDuel today along with LaMelo. Took long enough. LaMelo almost had a triple double.
FanDuel beat something at DraftKings.
Yeah, right, they finally did something. Wall more of a cash or a GPP play?
He's viable in both, in my opinion. Yeah, he has a relatively safe floor, and especially in this matchup, his floor is even safer than usual.
All right. Just got here. Is Wayne Ellington a good value on DraftKings?
I'd have to look into that, but honestly, there's going to be a lot of guards mentioned from the value perspective. I'm so locked in on Chris Chioza that I don't know. My answer is always going to be play Chioza.
Chioza had 5x at the half. Like, sincerely, what could you ask for more of? Just want to get to Drea. I'm just gonna start drinking now, and then
I was already there too. So
hits us with an LFG. Happy Friday, Drea. Let's go. All right, we got Alex, FanDuel GPP, Cole Anthony, Wall, Levert, Beal, Barrett, Bridges, PJ Washington, Clark, and Valanciunas. We haven't gotten to that game yet.
I loved it right after we got to Barrett. That's where that's the only thing for me. I love those first pieces. I'm not really on that Charlotte game all that much. And if you're playing both Bridges and PJ Washington, you need a Pelican in there some way, because if both those guys get there, that game's likely going bonkers. So try and find some value for Bridges. PJ Washington, I mentioned Chris Boucher and Draymond Green. They're both relatively cheap on DraftKings. I think on FanDuel, Chris Boucher is priced up a little bit, but you can still get Draymond. I think it's $5K on FanDuel.
Love it. And Brian, doing the promotion for us. If you go to Monkey Knife Fight and you put in promo code WinDaily, you get 3 free months to WinDaily Sports. So just go do that. So here, he's going big guns. All right,
let's. Is this points or what PRA?
I think this is
raw points.
Bradley Beal 31.5. That seems difficult to be regular points, right? Brian, please let us know, and then we'll get back to that one because that would be a lot of fun. Tice is a center on FanDuel. Throw him over Brian and mix up Clark Bagley with the model updates.
2 centers that I'm targeting the most on FanDuel are going to be Vooch and Tice. Really hard for me to get away from Vooch, though. I play him on a ton of slates just because he always comes in under owned. But now that all these guys are out for Orlando on top of that, Vooch is really hard for me to get away from tonight. But this is where FanDuel changing their positions kind of gets tricky. Before Tice would have been on a slate like this, it would have been perfect. $4,300 Daniel Tice at the power forward position, which always blows on FanDuel. And you have to roster 2 of them on top of that. Would have been a ton of fun, but if DFS was easy, everybody would do it. So I would go with Tice.
A lot of people do it, they just don't win.
Yeah, that's it. Tice or Vooch, I'm cool with mixing in Brian as well. I mentioned him in my article, and Jared Allen as well. Those would be my 4 guys.
Chioza in cash.
DraftKings, yes. FanDuel, no. I'll say this quickly too, because we have some other games to get to, but the value plays that we talk about on DraftKings, like these 3 to 3.5K plays, are not always necessary on FanDuel. FanDuel, you have more money and you're able to kind of get more of a balanced build. Stars are typically underpriced over there as well, and the mid-range is overpriced. So, I mean, you take a look at a guy yesterday like Shake Milton at 4,500. I was like, you need to lock this guy in on FanDuel. It doesn't make sense. Like I was already locking him in on DK at 4,900. Went for 35 DK, and it was nice to have him in that lineup. Yeah, it was 25% ownership, but still, like, he was in all the winning lineups and everything like that. So when I saw him at 4,500 on FanDuel, I was like, man, you don't even think twice. And Austin can vouch for that. He texted me and I was like, bro, you need to lock in Shake Milton there. And then it allowed him to get up to Damian Lillard, and I think that worked out pretty well.
I think Dame did pretty well last night. Going back to Brian, this is just straight points. Beal over 31.5 over under. You like that?
I'm a Bradley Beal truther. I'm not here for the unders. So would I pick that in my top 5? Like when Michael and I get to do like our top 5 player props for certain sites or anything like that, I probably wouldn't put it in my top 5, but I'm here for the overs. I'm all aboard the Bradley Beal truther train. So yeah, give me the over there.
Tatum over 29.5.
Over.
Harden over 28.5.
Over.
Unless he stops playing again, but I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Giannis under 28.5.
Over 28.5.
The chef.
I talked about it in my article as to why. I'm not just saying over for every number because I like overs. I talked about Giannis over tonight. Why?
We also really.
I also like.
We also do love the overs. Chef Curry over 26.5. That number seems low.
Yeah, that's like 10 points too low. So
yeah. Kawhi over 26.5.
I wouldn't touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
Jalen under 25.5.
He actually has a higher usage rate than Jason Tatum some nights. So that's a scary one. If you're going over on Tatum, it makes sense to go under on Jaylen Brown. But that one's scary. These guys might combine for 80 tonight.
And Don. Who's Don? Doncic? I think.
They're not on the slate tonight, are they?
No.
Dallas isn't on the slate tonight.
Tell us who Don is. But either way, I love it. I'm 100% in. Do you like Devontae Graham for Charlotte?
No.
And
big fan, but with LaMelo there, no.
Treya, Beal over Wall.
Every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Twice on Sunday. Let's go. Draymond or Clark in cash, both 5,100. Good question.
That's a great question. Hit me up in Discord. We'll check ownership together.
Love it. Donovan Mitchell, under 25.5. Yeah. Tatum Brown.
Under 25.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an under that I'm willing to accept.
Ran out of characters, so just left it as done. All right, I'll take it.
That's an under that I'm willing to accept. Yes.
Need to Beal, Fred VanVleet, and Karis LeVert.
Beal, LeVert, don't even think twice.
Oh man, you're just so pessimistic about your Raptors this year, man. It's not as fun. Last year was more fun when they're winning games in the bubble, and Kyle Lowry has that incredible pass to OG Anunoby, and he drains it. What was it? 0.6 seconds on the clock, man. Come on, Ghost.
I keep saying this to everybody. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. I call it like I see it. If it hurts their feelings, that sounds like a them problem.
So Kyrie Irving's out again. Is it just because he doesn't want to play, or is there an actual reason? Because the internet does things. The internet does things, and that went around a lot, and it was like from a close personal friend. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like bullshit too. So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, so I'm going to touch on this for 2 seconds. I'm going to move on because I'm going to get too heated if I discuss this. But like people blow this way out of proportion. A player saying that he doesn't want to play doesn't mean that the guy's retiring tomorrow. Like if he's having like think about it like from a serious perspective. You already heard Kevin Love come out about his mental health. You heard DeMar DeRozan come out. You heard a bunch of other athletes. Paul George willingly said, "I cannot play in this bubble. Like I'm freaking out." And now if the guy's having a mental breakdown at home because of XYZ factor, I don't know. We're not the paparazzi. We don't see what's going on in his house. We don't see what's going on within his family. Like he's not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, something like XYZ happened in my family that I don't feel like playing basketball today." No, he's just going to say, "I don't feel like playing basketball today." It's none of your business. It's like, think about when you text your friends and they say, "Oh, I don't feel like chilling tonight." You usually just say, "Okay." And
Yeah.
they're not going to tell you why. Like, and if they don't want to tell you why, they're not going to tell you why. But because Kyrie said, "Oh, I don't feel like playing tonight. Oh my God, he's going to retire tomorrow. This and that, bro. Just let the guy do his thing." And again, it's like I also call out his BS when he's BSing. Like when he made the comment to the media, calling them whatever he ended up calling them there. That was over the line. I call it like I see it. That's just the way that I am. This is a case where, you know what, could he have phrased it in a different manner and said, instead of saying I don't feel like playing, I mean, yeah, for sure, he could have phrased it in a different way. But
and
think
that's
about
the
it
point
this
I
way,
want to make.
like yeah, like
That's the point I want to make. Those weren't his words, right? It was from a source close to him. So like
that's
now
it.
we're 3 degrees away, and he said he didn't feel like playing tonight. So we're literally playing telephone. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game, but I was always the guy that totally fucked it up. But third grade Mike was kind of a dick. Surprise, surprise. I mean, look, this mustache tells you everything you need to know. But no, in all sincerity, I mean, it's one of those things where if he legitimately just said, yeah, I don't feel like playing tonight, like, because we see the text on the screen and we read it as if he's an asshole. Personally, I think he is kind of an asshole, but he's a Duke Blue Devil, so I'm going to ride or die with him as long as I can. But you read it as if it's just like, bro, I didn't fucking feel like playing tonight. Like, whatever. You like, why didn't go smoke bong and drink beer? Like, do you really think that's what it is? No. I think that's the internet being the internet. So I don't think we need to talk too much about it. Ghost does call him out on his shit too. So
and the fact that he didn't fly with the team, that shows to me that like injured guys still sometimes fly with the team. You could still get treated on the road. It's not like you can't get treated on the road. And then, because what if you're on a 6-game road trip and you get injured first game? It's not like you can't get treated. You're not going to miss the next 5 games. Like, you could get treated on the road. Obviously, people like to get treated more at home. That's understandable where they have their home facilities. But this is a spot where, like, we're hearing it from a reporter that heard it from a friend that heard it from, like, it's, unless I saw Kyrie on air with a mic in his face saying, like, I didn't feel like playing tonight. And even then, I would still give him the benefit of the doubt, because unless you're somehow in Kyrie Irving's mind, you don't know what's going on, what he means by that. So
100%. So thank you for that. But Kyrie being out actually does open up a bunch of value, which is kind of cool. Karis LeVert did his thing the other night. Yeah. Chris Chioza, we saw that last night. Anybody else? I mean, we saw Joe Harris go nuts. Jared Allen had a double-double. Like, that was a fun game last night.
Yeah, it was fun. And Brian described it perfectly. He's like, this game is a track meet. These guys are just running, and they're running. Yep. And that's exactly what Steve Nash's offense is. People could say, oh, Steve Nash isn't a coach, this and that. He's the coach of this basketball team, and he's getting this team to play basketball exactly the way that he played basketball.
7 seconds or less.
They move the rock really quickly, and because the fact that they get up the court so damn fast and they move the ball as they're moving up at that speed, somebody's always open, and they make sure to find that guy, and that's why they get it off so quick. So this is an offense that we're going to be targeting throughout the entire season. Karis LeVert is a lock for me on a slate like this. If you want to fade him because he's on a back-to-back, because of his ownership, anything like that, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do, but Karis LeVert for me is going to be in my main lineup, and he will likely be in a ton of my total lineups on both sites. You go back to Jared Allen. Joe Harris is too cheap as well. One thing that I do want to point out, and like, we're joking about Chris Chioza, but he was subbing in directly for Karis LeVert yesterday, and when he was coming out there, he had all the usage in the world. So this is something that you want guys that if they're coming off the bench, you wouldn't want Chioza playing with LeVert. You're going to tell me, oh, but go, so he could play with better players. No, I don't want the ball in LeVert's hands when Chioza's out there just running. I want the ball in Chioza's hands. So that's why people were asking me, like, oh, what about his minutes, anything like that? When he's out there, I don't want to say there's nobody else out there with him, but he barely shared the court with Jared Allen. He didn't share the court with Karis LeVert. Like, he was coming in for these guys. And then they surround him with spot-up shooters like Joe Harris. Joe Harris is not going to be a primary ball handler, not in this lifetime. So this is a question where you get a $3K price Chris Chioza, and no matter how few minutes that he plays, the opportunity will be there for him to be able to get there. It's not going to be because the production wasn't there, anything like that. At this point, it's all variable based on the minutes that he gets. And as long as he's going to be able to get there based on minutes alone from what Steve Nash gives him, the fact that it's a back-to-back too, he might even get more run than he got yesterday. And we saw what he did yesterday. So this is a spot that I'm going right back to. I mentioned Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, Jared Allen. You could make the argument to play guys like TLC and Taurean Prince. It's just at one point I can't play 7 Brooklyn Nets in my lineup. So the fact that I'm locking in LeVert and I'm going to have Chioza in a ton, I'm limited to Joe Harris and Jared Allen really in my next exposure, and TLC and Prince kind of fall behind the scale in terms of priority, but they're just as viable, especially on the back-to-back. You really don't know what these minutes are going to look like. So you can target all of these Brooklyn Nets, that's for sure.
It's definitely going to be an interesting one. And just for information's sake, Grizzlies are actually favored by a point, even after we watched the Nets just slam the Sixers. Over-under is at a cool 218, so not super high. So Vegas is taking that back-to-back into account, I think. Something to pay attention to. So, guys, we're only going to be here for a couple more minutes. It's almost lock. We have some more questions up here for you. I don't think we ever made it to this one. Elf Payton. Oh, whoops, sorry. Elf Payton, Wall, Van Fleet, Beal, Powell, Tatum, Clark, Green, Tice, GPP on FanDuel.
Yeah, it's strong. I like it. I like that a lot.
Best power forward, $6,700 or less on FanDuel.
Let me check.
Give it a second, Brian. People act like mental health isn't praised until Kyrie has it happen. Shaking my head. Appreciate you, Brian. Appreciate you, brother. We'll go back to best power forward, $6,700 or less on FanDuel. And
I really like Chris Boucher in this game. We're going to talk about that game briefly. I'll stay on with you guys. I don't mind. We'll talk about that game briefly.
Yeah,
I like Chris Boucher in this matchup.
Ghost has all his lineups starting at 7:30 anyway. He cheated today. So here we go. GPP, Chioza Melton, Levert, Semi Olajay. I don't think I can say his last name without saying his first name. I think there's something weird there for me. Tice, Ross, Giannis, and Harden.
It's very, very loaded with studs. Giannis, Harden. I'll even put Levert in that conversation on a slate like this too. Semi Olajay worries me a little bit. He's mostly a defensive player. Like he can bang some threes. He's a very strong 3-and-D wing. Like he's there for literally that. He hits threes and he plays D. So I'm worried about how implied he gets into that offense tonight with the amount of usage that's going to go to Brown and Tatum, and even Pritchard's going to see the ball more. Daniel Tice, there's going to be a guys getting the ball before he does. So that's my only concern with a play like that.
Makes sense. Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? I have money for either on DraftKings.
Yeah, that was my question too for myself as I'm building my lineups. Obviously, they're very close in price. I'm going Tatum in a spot like this.
Let's go, Duke. Norman Powell season?
Yeah. Let me check.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it back up? Is it back up?
No, it's not. It's still not up. Sorry, everybody.
Okay, let me check.
Kind of terrible time for having to go down.
I'll pull it up. Let's go to the next question as I'm loading.
Sorry. All right. Yes.
It's a big file.
So we actually only have one other question. So
who are we asking about? Norman Powell?
Norman Powell, yes. The season of Norman Powell. He's still on your Tampa Bay Raptors, right?
Can you refresh? If it's not up, I'm gonna push it right now.
Refresh. This is good radio right here. Refresh. It's not up still.
Okay, so I'll push it now then.
Sorry, guys.
See what I'm doing for you guys? I'm pushing this thing live on air. There you go. Okay, give it 3.5 minutes. It's gonna be up.
3.5 minutes, everybody. Stay around. See again. This is marketing.
Van Vliet. Not bad for a kid that just graduated business school. Van Vliet, Ross, Tatum, Tice, Portis, or Draymond. Definitely Draymond in a spot like that. Levert, Bazley, Melton. Yeah, Bazley and Melton are two names that I'm iffy on. Melton's always going to pop. He's an FPPM machine, fantasy points per minute. If anybody, we're also going to have a glossary come out on the site too, because I realize I referenced a lot of terms like that, and sometimes I don't fully spell them out. And I'm like, man, I assume that people know what I'm talking about, and I got to really spell it out a bit more. So my apologies for that. But FPPM is fantasy points per minute. This is a guy that he'll clean up when he's out there. The only issue are his minutes, but today he's projecting for quite a few. So given Tyus Jones' recent performance, Melton will likely be able to see an increased bump. He could possibly get there. It's a guy that's going to go overlooked. But in that price range, if you could get to Norman Powell, much prefer Powell over Melton. That's for sure. Bazley it's not that he's a bad player. It's just I'm off that game altogether.
Wait, has Tyus Jones been bad recently?
He's playing like doo-doo.
But that national championship, I'm gonna have it in my hearts forever. Whatever, I'll take it.
Oh yeah. That we'll never take that away.
That shot was freaking awesome. That smile says something about Norman Powell's season. I don't know. We'll see. Chioza Van Vliet.
I didn't even get to check.
Chioza
That's so
Van Vliet,
kind of
Levert, D Green,
Oh yeah, it's
Vucevic.
Norman Powell season. It's Norman Powell season.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, it
Norman Powell.
is.
Can you let me check actually?
Yeah, it's still not working on the website.
You guys, this is live look. You guys always wonder what it looks like. This is live look of my day. and I have 3 missed calls from Jay too.
Oh, so. Yeah. He knows. He literally knows you're on the live stream now. So that's funny. You want to take the call on the live stream? That would be kind of funny.
That would be funny. I should have probably done that.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
All right.
It's pushing in a minute and a half.
Yeah, we're almost there. All right, couple more questions, and then we'll get back to some games. I don't know. Did we do this one? Chioza, Van Vliet, Levert, Green, Vooch, Wall, Boucher, Tice, DK, GPP.
That's strong. I like that one a ton. Very nice. Well done.
Nice and strong. $4.20 entry. Baby Ball, good. The real ball. Beal, Jalen, Hachimura. We had a comment before. Hachimura is starting for Bertans, so that's interesting. PJ Washington, Teresa Burrito, Levert, Powell.
I'd have to check PJ Wash, see what he's popping at. Here, actually, let me check.
Has it been a minute and a half yet? I don't even know.
Washington is...
It's going to be 85 degrees every single day in St. Lucia Coast. So just thought I'd let you know.
Give me a sec.
Sorry, everybody. This is some radio for you. No,
this is day in the life of me.
Day in the life of the most handsome Canadian I know.
Thanks, bro.
See, look at that. I got that smile back. That's all we're hoping for.
Dun, dun, dun. I see it. Oh my god. Oh, that's why. Okay.
Oh no, was it that easy?
No, it's only populating some of
them. Here we go. Look, day in the life, Ghost.
Yeah, between PJ Washington is a guy that can somewhat get there, just more so a guy that I like to attack on defense, and he could get into some foul trouble too. He's been surprisingly staying out of it this season, or at least early on. So definitely something that he's been working on, but it's also because he's got even less aggressive than he used to be on the defensive end, if that was even possible. So playing a way taller Brandon Ingram, just in terms of wingspan, it's going to be tough for him to get up there. I could see him falling a couple times. Might be a bit of an issue for him. Man, I don't know. PJ Washington, Hashi, just double check his minutes restriction. You got to go digging for some Wizards news there on Twitter. Just double check if he's completely off a minutes restriction. That's okay. But right now, I didn't see any news for me to change that. He's coming in just under 27 minutes for me, so I don't know if you have to do it. Large field GVP at $4.20 entry. I don't know how many entries you're doing. That's okay. It's none of my business. But if you're rolling in a couple in there, yeah, for sure. That's a guy that's going to come in really low.
Could get a little weird. Is it the night we sit and watch Royce to 5'9" power forward determine if we win big or not?
Honestly, nothing is more defeating than seeing that you have PMR remaining on DraftKings and it's Royce the 5'9" out there. So I don't know. I can never get there. It's really tough.
It's difficult. So Brian, again, between PJ and Wendell Carter, that was the lineup we just saw before.
Let me check.
To the model. Oh, I'm going to click refresh again. Let's see. No, it didn't work. Jason, figure it out. You see, if he was watching the live stream, he would know.
I have Carter by 0.75 points. So
okay, so that's
not the biggest edge.
Just a toss up there. Chioza, Wall, Ross, Levert, Harris, Tatum, Siakam, Green, Vooch, FanDuel.
Yeah, roll that. That's strong, bro. Good job.
Roll it. Wall, Anthony, Fred VanVleet, Levert, Tatum, Harris, Clark, Birch, Vooch, FanDuel Cash.
No need for Birch and FanDuel Cash. That's the only change that I would make.
Or do I fit in Powell?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Fit in Powell, Cape Freak. Hello, Darkness, my old friend. I'm a relatively good. I mean, I know that song by Simon and Garfunkel. That's that and Loneliest Boy in New York. I think that's another one. I like that one too. FanDuel lineup: LaMelo, Anthony, Beal, Levert, Tatum, Barnes, Green, Boucher, and Tice.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes is a guy that I've been riding as of late. He's been having that hot hand and seems to have the trust of Luke Walton, which is seemingly impossible to get. So yeah, they're in a good spot today. Siakam's been really exposed on D. I've talked about it every show. I don't need to say it again here. Maybe next time the Raptors play, but yeah, Siakam's been a mess on D. So can definitely get down with some Harrison Barnes and large field GBP.
PJ Washington, Mitchell Robinson,
Mitch Robinson.
So Brian just answering us. Austin Rivers season? Oh no.
The one and only reason that I don't play Knicks backups, it's not because of their production. It's not because of their game environment. It's not because of their one-on-one matchups. It's because Tibbs is coaching.
Damn it.
Tibbs is going to Tibbs. Tibbs going to Tibbs. So they could be up by 20. They could be down by 20. It could be a preseason game. They played their second preseason game, which is like middle of no man's land. Like that's like NFL week 2 preseason. Nobody even plays those games. Julius Randle played like 42 minutes. Like Tibbs gonna Tibbs every single night. So
let's go, baby.
The only reason, but like there you need a lot to be able to. You need Elf Payne to possibly get injured. Knock on wood. Never want to wish that on a player. You need him to get into foul trouble. You need Tibbs to get pissed, and then Austin Rivers becomes the point guard edition of Tibbs gonna Tibbs. I know he played a ton of minutes last game, but that for me is gonna be a no.
Pivoting to Carter. Y'all had me pivot 2 yesterday. Got me 3.5.
Yeah, I remember that.
Let's go, baby.
That was nice. I remember that. Nice job, bro.
That is what we're here to do. Harris and Tatum, I have at small forward. Are they needed? Aren't they needed for cash?
Let me check. Tatum, I would strongly recommend. Definitely not gonna say no to Jason Tatum. Who's your center in that lineup? Is it Vooch or Tice?
Good question. So we are about. Yeah, there's like 4 games left. We're 10 minutes to lock. Do you want to just talk about any one of these games? Chicago, LA, maybe? That one seems like it could be fun. Maybe Utah, Milwaukee. Yeah. We clearly can't cover all of them. Sorry, guys, but we answered all your questions.
We'll run through them quick. Just go Tatum and Powell at small forward. So Utah, Milwaukee, the one thing I want to touch on is that this is a game that Utah can actually stay in just because of how bad Milwaukee's bench is. Like it is complete booty cheeks. I've talked about that so many times. Like their bench is terrible. When the first men off your bench are Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton and like a 46-year-old Kyle Korver, like there are some serious issues here in Milwaukee. And then that's when a guy like Jordan Clarkson can absolutely rip you to shreds because Jordan Clarkson going up against the likes of Bobby Portis and all these other bench players for Milwaukee, that's a recipe for disaster. So I think they keep this one close, and this is finally the game that you might get 36 minutes out of Giannis going up against Rudy Gobert. One of, if not the best defender in the league. He's definitely in the conversation. I don't care. You can't guard Giannis when he's driving in the paint with that speed, that strength. He's gonna run all over Rudy. So if you could tell me that I could get 34, 36 minutes out of Giannis tonight, I'm definitely overweight on Giannis compared to the field.
LFG baby. Clippers and Golden State. Curry
Steph Q. You got to be able to keep an eye on that. It's kind of like the LeBron AD situation. I mean, these guys are always going to play unless they're on the second half to a back-to-back. That's when it's like, let me actually pay attention to the news because they might not actually play. Every other night, LeBron and AD are going to be Q. You know that they're essentially playing. Curry's pretty much in that spot tonight. Had an off game last time. I think he gets right back on track here and really just gets back to his shooting volume as well. The one thing that I want to point out about Kawhi, I saw some people asking about Kawhi, was that don't look at his last game versus Golden State. Overall, I never like to look at game logs whatsoever, let alone that game was just a disaster for both teams. Second half of a back-to-back for the Clippers on top of that. It was the first back-to-back Kawhi played in 3 years. So I understand that the guy's one of the best players in the league, but like cut him a bit of slack. He hadn't played 2 games in 24 hours in over 3 years. So from that standpoint, too, he had only shot the ball.
Kick the fuck out. Like, come
completely
on.
different for your body. I'm telling you.
I believe you, but like, your body. Come on.
It's completely different.
I 100% believe that. I 100% believe that. I do not have a single ounce of. I'm not going to give him any sympathy for not playing the second night of a back-to-back for the first time in 3 years. Though, goes. Come on.
Pull up his player page.
I'll pull it up.
I'm going to show you why. You're going to go on game logs. How many times did Kawhi Leonard shoot the ball in that game?
12. Like a bitch.
Look at his last 3 games. Don't even have to scroll. Look at his last 3 games.
Like a bitch.
So this is what I'm telling you.
I'm not arguing your point. I'm arguing that I don't feel bad for Kawhi Leonard for having to play.
No, I don't either. He's definitely he's definitely pampered in that sense. But if that's what his body has become accustomed to, then you can't say, "Oh, I'm not playing Kawhi because of look at what he did last time versus Golden State." Like, no, it's not the same circumstances whatsoever. He only shot the ball 12 times. He's averaging over 18 field goals. It's another 6+ shots for Kawhi tonight in this spot. If you want to talk about a late hammer, I'm just. You can go for it. If you're playing Curry, you need to play Kawhi or Paul George, though, because if Curry's going bonkers, one of those two guys have to keep up. Draymond's also really underpriced in this spot. He's finding his groove and slowly getting back into his role on offense and on defense. So $5,100 Draymond Green. Typically throughout the season, depending on what his production is looking like, I would expect him to get up to like that 6,500, 7K range. So make sure to take advantage of it by now, because one of these games, he's going to go nuts. I told you I'd be around for the Damian Lillard bonkers game. I had him in a ton of my lineups yesterday. That was a lot of fun to watch. Just see him going absolutely nuclear like that. And is Draymond as supposed to have Damian Lillard on the offensive end? Absolutely not. No chance whatsoever. But he's gonna have one of these games where he gets close to, if not a triple double, and he just decides to go nuts on D2. He's a guy that could get 3 steals and 3 blocks in the same game. So I'm gonna be there for it when it happens.
You gotta be there for it when it happens. All right. Quickly, actually, we have 8 minutes before lock, so I want to get to some of these questions. We have FanDuel, Chioza, Payton, Levert, Van Vliet, Tatum, Powell, Williamson. Love it. Why is Taco popping? Because they don't have any bigs, and
Tristan Thompson's out. Williams is out. The other Grant Williams is out. They have like 4 or 5 guys out in their front court.
Clifford might limit Cole's minutes. Still good value.
I never trust coaches when they say stuff like that.
Nice. You'll love to see it.
If his ownership's at 40%, now I'm gonna fade him even more because that. But if it's coming down because of that, that's when I'll reverse course. For me, it all depends what his ownership looks like leading up to tip.
Play the field, everybody. The model's back.
If you're playing this game, load up on studs.
Yay, the model's back.
That's all I could say. There you go. Enjoy.
7 minutes left. Wow. Oh man, can I tell them the top 2? The top 3.
Let me check. Let me make sure it ran properly.
Oh, we've been talking about all of them all night, so.
Yeah, okay, just go for
it. Daniel Tice.
It's working out well. We got to keep the tradition going. Every time we'd say it.
Yeah, Daniel Tice at 7.6 times value. Chioza again is absolutely popping, and Norman Powell above 7 as well. So go play those guys. Enjoy
it, folks. You know how I keep saying, make sure to check the projections leading up to lock.
Mm-hmm.
Now you had to do it. You had to do it today.
Yep.
So I don't want to say, oh, I didn't check the projections between 6:30 and 7. You had to do it today. You didn't have a choice.
It's true. They couldn't, but they can now, and now you have to. So make sure to go.
Can now. Go and check it.
Chicago, Los Angeles, Davis.
Yeah, you got to play studs from this game. You got to play studs, and honestly, it's. For me, this is, again, you got to plan your flag, 10-game slate, can't be playing every single game. This is a spot where I'm completely cool. If you tell me, I'm not playing anybody from this game, I would say no problem. Like, it's a great spot if LeBron or AD or even both play. Zach LaVine's going to have to be able to keep up on offense. Anytime that the Bulls take the court, he's going to have to drop 40 for them to even possibly get a chance to win, let alone against the Lakers. So it's a spot where you can load up on studs. But for me, it's this game's a fade just based on too many questions surrounding LeBron and AD and everybody else in this game.
I love it. And especially if LeBron or Anthony Davis is ruled out, I think that puts them in some really good spots. Kobe White's been fun too. Toronto.
If you do want Lakers exposure, instead of playing AD and LeBron and LaVine or any of these guys, you could play value plays that are closer to these like in the 8 o'clock game range. And then if we somehow get blessed with Lakers news around that time and you're able to pivot to a guy like THT in your guard, forward, or util spot, that's where it could be the difference today. Like I said, lineups don't stop until tonight. It's 10 p.m. Eastern. Last game on the slate doesn't stop.
Keep checking the model, people. 5 minutes to lock.
Yeah, I don't get stressed out for you guys not to check it, so make sure you're checking it, please.
All right. Toronto, Sacramento. Is De'Aaron Fox going to play? I think he's not, right? He's trending towards not.
He's trending towards, like, I've heard conflicting reports. He's apparently, the last report that I read was that they're really unsure about his status. Like, they didn't know how else to describe it. Like, they just It looked like a pretty bad injury. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep him out of this one. Kyle Lowry's also ruled out. You saw what Norman Powell did in the model. I also really like Chris Boucher. He's been popping throughout the day.
Wait,
and that's
Kyle
because
Lowry's out?
Kyle Lowry's out, yeah.
Wow, that's weird. He doesn't have the O next to him. Oh man, he's gonna get people are gonna play him. That's so sad.
Yeah, it sucks to suck when you don't pay attention.
It does. Should have joined Daily Sports.
But it's just the truth. You gotta play Norm in this matchup if you would like a value play. Definitely popping in the model as we said before. Make sure you go and check it out for yourself though. Other than that, I wouldn't load up completely. This is not a spot where like I had mentioned these guys in my article based on De'Aaron Fox playing and just the overall competitiveness in this game. This is a get right spot for my Raptors. Like this is a game where they can, I don't want to say beat up on the Kings because the way that they're playing this season, they're lucky if they beat up on anybody. But this is a spot where they can get a 6 to 8, 10-point win and really get their confidence going. Now with Lowry out, you're going to see Van Vliet shooting a bit more. I really see Norm having a strong contribution on the wing. OG is going to play well. Siakam hopefully knows what he's doing on defense for the first time all season. Like this is a spot where like it's a get right game. If they lose this game, look out because they're going to make some serious trades. Like they're going to Masai is going to make something happen. It's not going to work if they lose this game. So
if no De'Aaron Fox, how much Tyrese Halliburton?
You're testing. You know how much I love Tyrese. Man.
That's why I had to ask.
Probably a fair bit. You want your pivot to a $5,000 Cole Anthony?
Bang! Let's go, baby. Let's go. A couple more questions before we get on out of here. 3 minutes.
Before I forgot, sorry, just really quickly. Reason why I like Chris Boucher is because Sacramento plays small. Hassan's not going to be getting 20 plus minutes. Toronto's going to want to win this game, pushing the pace. Norm is going to be out there with OG and Van Vliet and Siakam. Baines doesn't fit in that offense tonight, so they're going to play Boucher a ton.
Ghost, did you find the ownership between Clark and Draymond on
yes. Let me check for you. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Van Vliet or Brown in the GPP?
Check the model.
Nice, because it's up now. Haha, look at that.
I've been waiting to say that all day.
2 minutes, baby. FanDuel GPP wall.
If you fade the first game, like I told you, you shouldn't be tripping right now.
That's true.
You still have another 32 minutes. So.
Yeah, Ghost isn't worried. And I mean, I'm sure you guys are putting some money on the line, but I know how much Ghost does.
Walt, Chioza, Beal, LeVert, Powell, Tatum. Yeah, I saw Marcus Morris in chat today. Double check the model, bro, just to make sure if he's popping, roll it. Just by going with gut though, I wouldn't expect him to be popping.
JJ pop.
Check ownership between who?
JJ.
Who's JJ?
I thought Redick, but now Josh Jackson's out. I thought.
Brian, who's JJ? JJ Redick or JJ Josh Jackson?
I don't see either of them, so I am curious. Yeah, please get back to us. 2 minutes.
Who was the question? Clark or Draymond?
Clark or Draymond, FanDuel cash.
Ownership is pretty tight, so whatever the model says, whoever's predicted.
Wait, what is ownership?
15% both.
No. What is it? It's pretty.
It's pretty tight.
Tight. There we go.
Nice and tight. It's tight like a tiger.
Nice and tight there. All right. Kawhi or Tatum, DraftKings single entry.
Tatum. Ride or die. Tatum.
$5 single entry and $4 20 entry. I like this, Brian.
Get Avdija out there. Avdija, however you pronounce his name. That he's just not involved in that offense at all. I'm not
Taco truck. I like that.
Gary stars and scrubs for my boy Tulak. You can easily come off Steph for LeVert. If you want Harden and Beal, I'm cool with that. But these are two options where if you come off Steph for LeVert and Harden for Wall, yes, you're losing some points, but you could upgrade every single one of those guys after. So
he also says Powell over TLC.
Whatever the model says, but I'm pretty sure the model's going to say yes.
Yeah. Anthony, Chorizo, Van Vliet, LeVert, Tatum, Powell, Randall, Green, Vooch. Got it.
Strong.
Bang, 7 o'clock. Thanks, everybody. That is Lock. Ghost has stuff to do now. He has about a half hour. Hopefully, you guys listen to him, and you will have an extra half hour.
I got to call back Jay before he thinks I'm dead. So
nah, dude, just wait till Lock. He'll understand. But thank you to Ghost Man. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Sincerely, this is our favorite part. This was a nice and long one. You will not be seeing me next week. I'm going to be in St. Lucia on my honeymoon with my shaved balls. Thank you to everybody in the chat for asking. Promo code WinDaily.
You got to bring the box. The box.
I'm not going to bring the box to St. Lucia. I'm sorry.
I mean, you're not bringing the box.
I'm not going to bring the box to St. Lucia. There's no need. What am I going to do with the
It's such a nice box.
It's a really nice box, but like, what am I going to do with it in St. Lucia, man? I don't know. It seems a little excessive. You only have so much luggage to go around.
You got to bring the box.
Sincerely, thank you to everybody. Ghost Man, where can everyone find you on the internet?
At DFS_Ghost over on Twitter. And of course, with the Win Daily Sports team, you can find all of our content there. Articles, projection model, Discord, you name it, we got it.
Come on and hang out with us. NBA season pass still available, not too much longer, $150, 7 months, $20 a month will make you a lot more money than that, I can promise you. Please make sure, if you haven't already, hit the like button on this page. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page as well. This one and that one. We're here for all of it. We're all good friends here, so make sure to do that as well. You can follow me at MichaelBrazil1. You can follow us at Win Daily Sports. As Ghost said, go to windailysports.com. You get all the content that you need for Ghost, for the chat, for the whole team, for myself. We hope you make it a very profitable Friday night in the NBA.